Hello there. Jerrel here. I'm the developer of the Silver Falls game series. Thanks for joining me today. I thought I'd try a new setup today. So it's been a while since we've caught up in terms of updates. You might have noticed we haven't been posting much on social media. I haven't been posting my videos. I normally like to take a couple hours away from the office, go for a hike, and do a video out there and just get people caught up on what's happening with the studio. But the past month has been absolutely brutal in terms of development, and I've been holding off making a video because uh, I didn't want to create a video that would end up being overly negative. Um, because I have a lot of things I'd like to say about developing with Unity that are quite negative, and I'm personally, it's very human to feel uh, feelings and to respond to things, but when you are a professional and you have a public presence, uh, sometimes you're just going to have to prioritize the presentation of your brand and your identity, and so I'm just going to hold off on saying anything negative about working with Unity, which is the development software we use for developing Silver Falls. But the long and the short of it is episode Prelude could have been done and submitted in the beginning of February, which I've been aiming for, and I've pretty much just been banging my head against a brick wall, um, fighting a whole bunch of issues with Unity that are popping up that absolutely should not exist. And it's the same kind of um, issues that we faced with developing Three Down Stars for the 3DS. Um, the development software seems like it's going to work properly, but once you get your product running on hardware, it does not work the way that Unity says. So I'm going to leave it there, and we're just going to leave all that negativity behind because the game episode Prelude is pretty much done now. It's at the final stages, so I'm just sort of sanding off a couple rough edges. There are going to be a couple things that I'm just going to have to live with because there's still issues with Unity. So I'm going to try and avoid spoilers here, but just to get you guys caught up again, um, the game is pretty much done. I'm going to be submitting it within the next couple days, so I thought it would be fun to share the game with you and to show you some actual gameplay. So I set up this sort of I can actually play the game, and yeah, we can sort of talk about what's going on here. So uh, this is Romanic Rodriguez. Uh, People who have played Three Down Stars might recognize him. So I won't say too much about that. I don't want any spoilers or anything. And even a, before Three Down Stars launched, we actually did that limited release Android demo. So you guys might actually remember this starting area. So this is not the same as that. This is more of a full experience of a game. It has a very short story, so don't expect, like a 30-hour epic, but it has a short story mode that you can play through multiple times to keep finding more details and to keep unlocking things. And the battle mode is um, just a sort of a more action focused, a little bit faster paced Frontier Fighters mode, so you won't have weapon upgrading and character stat upgradings, but you get a lot of items and a lot of weapons very quickly, and it's more about just collecting tons of weapons, selling what you don't need to buy more ammunition, and to keep building up your arsenal of super cool weapons. So that's battle mode here. There will be some extra unlockable alternate outfits for Romanic, and there will be some other characters which you can only get by connecting to the other Silver Falls games. So if you have um, Three Down Stars, or if you know someone that has Three Down Stars, you personally don't have to own the game. So if you don't have Three Down Stars, find someone, message somebody. If you have a friend that has Three Down Stars, say, hey, can you code link episode Prelude so I could get some new characters added? Um, uh, and you'll be able to use Holt if you have Three Down Stars, and you'll be able to use Bull Brandish if you have Undertakers. So there is a fourth character whom I don't want to spoil who that is. there's a funny glitch there that I thought I'd show you that I'm still ironing out, but it sort of teleports you, so it's pretty funny from like a speed running glitch if you were trying to get up there. So I'm just there's going to be one or two funny glitches here, which of course this is development build, and I'm just ironing out some small things like that. Um, I thought I'd show you the environment here and just show you the graphical upgrades that this is pretty much every Silver Falls game that has this aesthetic that will be releasing on the Switch will have this sort of visual depth and quality. Um, I didn't want to show too much um, of what's going on because I don't want to spoil the game. I want people to sort of feel fresh, but I'm just sort of showing you the starting environment here and how interactable things can be, so you can sort of bump into the ranges and things that are getting in the way there. Let's see what I have here. There's going to be a couple UI elements that are still, saved for the very end because it's, a quick, simple fix, but it hasn't been a priority. So a couple UI elements will be adjusted here and there before I submit it. So it's just a matter of going down my list and ticking a couple boxes and then fixing all the final things. You can sort of notice there are going to be a couple materials and textures that we'll still see a finalized version for the final product that are a little bit slightly unfinished in this build. So I'm looking forward to sharing more about this game, posting more screenshots, and getting it out there so people can just enjoy it and they can sort of jump into the story. There's quite a bit of story in it to explore. Let's see, I can pick it. Okay, so that's it. Let's see, can I find any melee weapons here? It's here anyway. Check this. So I personally really enjoy these fixed camera angles. I'm a huge fan of the survival horror games from the PlayStation 1 era. So I'm all about that stuff. I absolutely love any kind of survival horror, especially those fixed camera angle Resident Evil games, and I really enjoyed that. But in this, it's mainly over the shoulder, sort of, or the camera follows from a distance. But I picked out a couple areas, and I generally use these stationary camera angles to sort of help highlight areas of interest. Uh, and if there's sort of instead of having sparkly things, which I really don't like, I think it's really immersion breaking when you have a sparkly sparkle saying, "Hey, you gotta look at this thing." I use camera angles instead, and I think it's a more organic and interesting way to point out things that are of interest. So I'll take this little hammer. Gun, thank you. Don't mind if I do. Alright, gun. There are a couple, there's just a couple things that I would like to make a bit better, a bit more polished, and uh, to be a bit, more refined. But using Unity has been an absolute nightmare. It's just been an absolute headache, and I've just been fighting it, and it's getting to a point where I really need to submit this game, and I've just got to get the game selling so it can fund, um, well, it can fund the survival of the studio and development of other games in the series coming up. So I've got the hammer here, and I'm ready to fight off if anything's going to pop out. I got my hammer and I got my shotgun. And there is still, I think there's one animation that I still need to iron out. So from a beta standpoint, I think it's pretty fun to show you. But there's a new animation, so you have your dodge roll, and you have a new animation for that. But it's a little bit, you can see it needs a little timing adjustment on that because he sort of pauses in the air for a second. I thought it'd be funny to share that with you because that obviously it'll be fixed in the final version, but it's always fun to sort of show things in development as they go. So again, this build is 99% done, and it's just adjusting minor graphics and the timing on some sound effects and things like that. So I'm really looking forward to um, getting this all finished up. And let's see here, we're back on the store, and I don't want to show too much more, so I just want to let people, when the game does launch, I want to let people explore and find things and enjoy the game itself. So there will be unlockable stages for the battle mode. There will be a total of 4, and you can accomplish various things in the game, and you can get those different things. So um, there is an aspect to the game as well that I sort of in this certain run, I've kind of hidden it a bit because I don't want to spoil things too much. I'm gonna open it and I'm gonna see if it's not going to show too many spoilers here. So your boss will send you messages from time to time uh, on your text message thing, but I turned it off because I don't want the story to get spoiled here. But he'll keep messaging you from time to time uh, on this text messenger, and depending on whether or not you answer him, you'll get different aspects of the story, and you'll actually get uh, new scenes, new environments, and more unlockables in the game. So if you end up, if you're busy fighting off enemies and they're attacking you, oh, I better start hiding those. And if enemies start fighting you, and you get so busy fighting off enemies, or you're in a really difficult spot, and you end up missing some text messages to the story, you might get some unexpected consequences in the story if you don't reply to certain text messages. You might miss certain scenes. You might not get a 100% on a game completion. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Just a close look at the visuals, how the character looks. Oh yeah, one more small detail here. So um, when you press minus on the controller, there's a dedicated button, and I'm hoping Nintendo doesn't ask me to change this, but I've set the quality control to the minus button. So if you have a look here, it's in balance mode right now, and that means you get a better frame rate, and the resolution is a little lower. Um, and if I press it again, you'll get best performance. And it's going to be a little jittery because my capture card is actually not the greatest. Um, so it's a lot smoother on the TV that I'm actually playing, but it's not showing how smooth it is in the capture card itself. Again, it's kind of a cheap capture card. And then if you have best graphics, and the resolution will be the highest when it comes to best graphics. But when you get to certain environments that are sort of huge outdoor environments, it might be better to switch over to either balance or best performance, and you can still get, you know, for a lot of scenes you'll be getting between 55 and 60, and then in the really heavy places it might drop to low 50s. Um, but generally, I've designed it in such a way to where the visuals still look, they're still visually, um, you know, okay for your eyeballs, even when it's at the lowest resolution. It's about the quality of the scene more so than it is the number of pixels. And yeah, me personally, it would be an absolute dream if the game ran at 1080. But the game is visually very dense. There's a lot that's going on here. It's quite complex. But just to show you, there isn't, it's not going to be like a horrifying downgrade when you switch between the high resolution and low resolution. There's the balance, best performance, and best graphics. Oh, so hey, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed having a look at that. Um, and since I'm finally getting the game submitted, um, I'll be picking the social media back up again. So we'll be more active on that. We'll try and get more posts going, and we'll share what projects we have coming up next. And the next game that we, oh, my boss keeps texting me. The next project we have will be coming very soon, closely behind this, and it's a different style of game, but it's another Silver Falls game that will connect to this one with the code linker, and the story isn't too tightly connected, so you can enjoy either game separately. So if this isn't your kind of game, if you're not sort of into this sort of hey, the next Silver Falls game, it's a different style, but set in the same universe. So I hope you might stick around and check out the games that we have coming up. So thanks for joining me. That's all for today, and I guess I will log out. Thank you. We'll see you around. Cheers.